Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Grissa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about the fabulous online exclusive Friendly Foliage bundle by Stampin' Up! Now, this is a bundle that was released at the beginning of November, and I ordered it right away because I think it's super cute and really versatile, lots of possibilities. And then, of course, I was so busy with Christmas classes and Christmas cards and all the things that I just finally got to play with it today. I'm telling you, it is a great little bundle, and I'm so glad I finally got a chance to use it. So today I'm going to show you the bundle. I'm going to make 3 projects with you and then show you a couple others that I came up with very last minute. It's amazing how inspiration strikes when you're under the gun. So I had to drive my son to work for 4 o'clock, and I got home and as I was driving, I thought of 2 more ideas that I wanted to try. So I put them together so I would have some extra samples to share with you. So if you are joining me, whether you're watching live or catching the replay, please let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always nice to know where people are tuning in from. And I am going to show you the bundle while you are doing that. So let's flip to the desk view. So here we go. Friendly Foliage, again, is the name of the bundle. We have a stamp set with this really pretty, very simple stamp image that, oh my goodness, has so many possibilities that you're going to see in a little bit. I love this image. And the cool thing is that the die cuts out the image. So you can either, I don't know if this is 100%. I don't think it is. No, it's not. So you can cut the stamped image just as it is, or you can use the die with the little detail cutout to cut all the spaces between the branches to create a little window. So we're going to use that on actually 2 of the cards today. So you'll see that in action. We've got some lovely sentiments with mixed fonts. Love this little vine stamp. This is one of the ones that I had some inspiration about as I was driving my son to work. So you're going to see a project with that at the end, and then a couple of extra branches to fill in our arrangement there and make it a little fuller. So we have our dies that cut out the stamped images, and then a couple of extra dies, just different shaped leaves that you can add to your arrangement. So that is the bundle. Now, let me, before we get started, acknowledge everyone who's tuning in here. Let's see what we've got. We've got Mia. Oh, 6 inches of snow in Cincinnati. Well, congratulations, Mia. If you love snow, I guess that's a good thing. I don't mind snow until Christmas, and then it all needs to melt and go away. I know I live in the wrong place, but one can dream. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Terry. And Jeannie K. Snowy in Fredericton. Yep, 'tis the season. 4 inches close to Lake Erie. Okay. Yeah, Ohio seems to have gotten, we just had a little dusting yesterday, but I think Ohio kind of got hit. Hi, Lena, welcome. What else we got here? Lauren, welcome. April, hello. Laura, welcome. Hi, Inika. Inika? You can correct my pronunciation. I think it's Inika, but you can let me know if I have said that incorrectly. Hi, NJ Cardmaker in Florida. Nancy, welcome. And Laura, welcome, welcome. Okay, so let me show you the first card we're going to make. I posted this earlier today. It's a super simple card, but it uses another new product that you probably, well, may have missed. I almost missed it myself until I saw somebody else using it. So I'm going to show you the product. It doesn't look like much on camera, but it is some specialty paper. It's called Whispers of Texture. And the paper that I used on this card has really, really subtle. Can you see that really subtle texture? You can see it better when I ink it. So you'll see it in a moment when I add some ink to the piece. But there's that pattern. And then there's also a really fine stripe that almost looks like a little mini corrugated pattern. So you get 3 of each, 12 by 12 in the pack. And they're great for coloring because they're white. You can stamp on them. You can do all kinds of things with them. So I'm going to show you how great the first pattern, the sort of linen texture, looks with a little bit of ink. All right. Leatta's got snow in BC. Shirley's waiting for snow in PEI. Oh, you'll get there. I have no doubt. All right, so this piece is, again, some of that Whispers of Texture specialty paper, and I've cut it to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green ink and a little, just my small blending brush, because I'm not going to put a ton, and I'm just going to apply a little sort of patch or splotch of ink where my window is going to go. And you're going to see the texture come up a little bit better. It's hard to see when it's white, but I'll hold that up and you can see the texture a little bit better. Do you see that? It's really pretty. I love this paper. I am going to be using it a lot, I think. So I'm just going to darken this down a little bit. I like to start light, especially when I'm starting in the middle of a piece of paper. Usually I start off the edge, right, when I make blending. So whenever I have to start in the middle, I'm always cautious of, you know, that big splotch of color. So I think that should be good. And then we're going to add some linen thread to that. So these were left over from another class I did. So I've just got some odds and ends here that we are going to make use of. So I'm going to grab a glue dot. We're going to put one on the back side of our paper here. I'm going to take the ends of my linen thread, press it into the glue dot, run it across the front of my panel, and then add another glue dot to secure it. That way I'm not wasting twine where I don't need it, right? I don't see it on the back, so why waste it? All right, so I'm just going to arrange these a little bit. I'm going to spread them out so that it looks kind of like they're wrapped, just like that. Okay, that is going to get glued onto a Granny Apple Green mat. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit of glue to the back of our Whispers of Texture specialty paper and pop that on. So this is a really quick and easy one, this card. I mean, the die cutting takes a minute, but it's not bad. So it's a quick and easy one if you need to get well cards for folks. I know a lot of people who are sick right now. There seems to be an awful lot going around. We are going to adhere this to a Strawberry Slush card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we will go ahead and fold that in half along our score line. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue and we'll pop this on. Hi, Sharon in Winnipeg. Welcome. Hi, Kara, Indiana. Yeah, it's snowy and cold in a lot of places. It feels like winter came a little early this year. I don't know. Hi, Alexina. Welcome. Yes, Mia, Last Chance was updated. Most of the holiday mini is on it. That's to be expected near the end of the life of a catalog. Okay, so here is my die cut little window piece. So essentially, when you want to cut this out, you can put both of these pieces on. In fact, it's easier to put both pieces on at the same time. I start with the frame and then line up the inset piece. Okay, and you just run it all through at once. And then I have a few extra branches here. Now I should mention I've stamped in shaded spruce ink on Granny Apple Green cardstock. I wanted something bright and springy and summer-like because, well, it's anything but around here these days. So one can just dream of warmer temperatures, right? And if somebody's under the weather, they definitely are dreaming of warmer days and feeling better. So I'm just going to take and add a couple of branches to my arrangement here. So I just took and put a glue dot on the back of my branch and then kind of fed it through the window, just to add a little extra fullness to my arrangement. And I'm going to do one more long one here on this side. That's just going to get stuck to the frame there, just like that. I'm not worried about them crisscrossing in the back. It's no biggie. It'll get covered. And then I've got a couple of small ones here as well. So we'll take these little guys. We'll tuck one of these in here. And we're going to tuck one more in on the other side. I think that'll probably be enough. I don't think I actually did 3. I think I cut out one too many. Let's tuck this guy in here. Just like that. Maybe we should put one right up the middle. What do you think? Do you feel like, yeah, no, I like seeing the stems there. Okay, so that's essentially all there is to it. And then we're going to go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back. So I'm going to use minis just because there's not a ton of real estate. I mean, there's some, but I just want to make sure I'm not going to see my dimensionals peeking through my little arrangement here. The nice thing about the dimensionals too is that it's going to kind of hold everything in place, all those extra branches that we added. We'll just add a couple of extra bits of adhesive here to make sure that everything stays where we want it. Put one up here and maybe one over here. That should be good. All right, I missed a bit here. I need to poke out this little bitty bit down here on the corner. And we'll get rid of our backings. And pop this little guy on, overlapping that little ink splotch that we just put down. So it's just going to go on like this. Really simple. Just like that. My twine's a little higher on this card, but that's okay. And then I have my little sentiment. So this is just a 1/2 inch by, I don't know, it was maybe 3 inches when I started. Heat embossed. So this is Strawberry Slush cardstock, heat embossed in white. And then I cut a banner end. I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals, or maybe just one, on the right end. And then a little bit of seal on the left. And I'm actually going to put this a little bit higher on this one, just so that I don't bump over my linen thread there. Okay. And then I have some little flowers. These little guys are cut using the Impressions of Bloom dies. Now, those are actually on the last chance list, I believe. Pretty sure they are, as of today. So if you have not yet picked those up and they've been on your wish list, you may want to consider picking those up sooner than later before they disappear. Also started today is the new Product of the Month program. So when you spend $100 here in Canada, it unlocks the Product of the Month and you have the option to add it to your cart for $5. So this month is a beautiful DSP pack, which is our Product of the Month. And that is available while supplies last. So you can only get one. Everybody, even demonstrators, can only get one. I can't get more. And once they are sold out, they are sold out. They are gone forever. So I've had a couple people take advantage of that. And I'm announcing it in my newsletter tomorrow, but I will give you guys all a heads up. I am offering a free PDF next month to anyone who purchases the Product of the Month this month. So essentially, anyone who purchases the Product of the Month for me in the month of December will receive a PDF with at least 5 projects using the Product of the Month next month. Does that make sense? I hope so. Only because I haven't been able to pre-order it. We're not allowed to pre-order Product of the Month, so I haven't even got my hands on it yet. All right. So I've added my little flowers. The last touch is to add some of these little brushed brass butterflies, which I think are absolutely perfect for this stamp set. I think they work really well with it. These cute little guys. They're just going to be fluttering around. There we go. Done and done. Super simple card, but I really love that extra little hint of texture. Now on the inside, I add another little ink splotch and stamped a wishing you all the best and a little branch on the inside. Okay, so that is number 1 done. Number 2 is, yes, I'm still doing a Christmas card. I know I should be over it by now, but I had to show you how versatile this bundle was. So this is a little shaker card. I can't remember the last time I made a shaker card on a live, so I figured it was about time. And it also shows that this bundle works really well for Christmas, as well as all kinds of other things. So let me show you how to put this one together. How many of you have made shaker cards or make them often? Can you comment? Just let me know in the comments if you are a shaker card expert or not. Okay, so I have, again, my little window here that this time I've heat embossed it in gold on white cardstock. Oh, yes, I forgot my bow. Thank you, Mia. It's sitting right here. I pushed it off my desk. Thank you, thank you. Where's my glue dots? Can't go bowless. That would be like a total faux pas. Let's add our bow. This is just a little double bow, again, cut from the linen thread. Much better. There we go. Thanks, Mia. All right, so back to card number 2. So this is my little window that I've cut or stamped in heat embossing gold and then cut using the dies. And then I have a piece of acetate that is cut to fit behind my little window. So this piece is 1 3/4 by 3 inches. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Yes, Tombow will work on acetate. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive to use liquid glue on acetate, but it actually does work. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on my little frame here. And then the easiest way to do this is to just take your acetate and lay it on top. And then I usually just tap it. I don't burnish too much because I don't want that glue to ooze. So I'm just going to tap it and let it sit for a minute while we put some other things together. All right. So I have my card base. It's real red cardstock, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, so same dimensions as the last card. All right, I'm looking. Okay, Terry's made many shaker cards and loves them. Oh, we got some people who haven't ever made a shaker card. Wow. Oh, someone's only done one in a kit. Okay, well, hopefully we can teach you how easy they are. Okay, so here we go. I folded my card base in half. I'm going to add my Traditions of Christmas DSP. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. This gorgeous DSP is, I think I need to go and order a couple more packs because I love it so much. Yes. All right, then we are going to layer a 3 by 4 inch piece of Traditions of Christmas DSP onto a 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 piece of real red cardstock. Again, nice narrow little mat. So we'll pop that on. Just like that. And then a little bit of glue to adhere that to our card. We're just going to center that. And the stripes on this one are very helpful in getting things straight. Close enough. All right. Okay, now we are going to work on putting our shaker together. So that has set up. Now we need to have something to contain our bits. So we are going to use some of our foam adhesive strips. These are like strips of dimensional, essentially. And this, it's like Stampin' Up! Knew we would want to make shaker cards with this. So the frame on this die cut is exactly the width of these adhesive strips. It's kind of the way around. Now, really important when you're making a shaker card, you have to make sure that those strips butt up against each other. You don't want to have any kind of a gap, because if there's a gap, you're going to lose the filling from your shaker. Ask me how I know. Okay. I have made many a shaker card where things were not quite sealed off properly, and especially when I'm using little micro beads, those little guys, they get everywhere. And then our last little piece, and look at this, it's almost exactly the length of one strip. I'm just going to trim a teensy little bit off. Look at that. Perfection. All right, so there is our sort of shaker container. And then we are going to add some of our gold shaker stars to this. So these are, I think these are also an online exclusive. I can't remember. I don't, or maybe they're in the catalog. But they're really pretty. Can you see them? They're little teeny stars. There's open ones. Here, maybe I'll put some in the lid. It's easier to see them when they're in the lid. So there's open ones and there's solid ones. Lots and lots of stars. And I, like, honestly, you don't need much. This container will last you forever and a day. All right, we're going to set that aside so we don't have a disaster. And then it's a matter of taking off the backings from our strips. So we're going to work our way around. You just want to take care not to get, see, there's a little star that's on my border, on my strip there. Don't want that. And then I have a piece of the red pattern, or red polka dot patterned DSP from the Traditions of Christmas pack. This is also 1 3/4 by 3. And so all we're going to do is just take and seal this up. So I'm just going to lay this on top, make sure I'm hitting the edges of my adhesive strips and give it a good burnish. And voila, isn't that easy? Shaker cards are so easy to make. You could even make a really cute little gift tag. How fun would that be to have a shaker gift tag? All right, so that now is going to get adhered. Actually, you know what? Let's add our branches, then we'll adhere it. All right, so I have some stamped and die cut branches, and then some die cut little gold branches. So these ones were stamped in Old Olive ink on Old Olive cardstock. So we'll go ahead and add just a little bit of seal to these. Excuse me. Pop them on, make one a little bit longer. And you just want to crisscross the stems at the top because we're going to trim them off and then hide the sort of ugliness with the bow. So we'll get rid of those little stems. And then we'll add our gold ones. Now these ones I should have put adhesive sheets on, but I was not thinking clearly. And so now I'm going to have to be really, really careful with some itty bitty dabs of glue. So there's one. We're going to hope that that sticks. And we'll do one more. Just like that. I'm just going to hold them here for a sec to give them a moment to set up. Shirley, it is so easy. The key is to have the foam adhesive strips. They are your best friend. They make shaker cards so stinking easy. I remember when we didn't have those and we used to have to use the edges of our dimensionals. Do you remember that? Anybody remember having to cut the edges of your dimensionals to make your shaker containers? It was much more challenging back then, but the adhesive strips really have simplified the process. All right, so those are mostly stuck. Once I add my bow, they will stay put. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to the back of my little shaker container here. I'm going to be fairly generous because I want to make sure this stays on the front of my card. And then we're just going to center that on our DSP. And again, we've got some lovely little regular pattern circles here that we can use to get this nice and straight. And I'm going to let that sit for a moment while we doctor up our little ephemera. So these are from, sorry, I need a quick drink. There we go. These are from the ephemera pack. This one looks like this. They're called Greetings for You. And they're white with gold foil. And they are super easy to alter. So I'm going to take some real red ink. And we are going to make it red and gold. So I'm just going to take my blending brush and I'm going to turn this red. So easy. I realize I forgot to turn on my do not disturb. So hopefully I don't get a call. I'm getting notifications, but I'm really hoping I don't get a call. This is for the inside. So I'm just going to do this now. And then the key, once you've added the ink, is to take a tissue or paper towel or something, which I forgot to grab, so give me a sec. And you're going to wipe off the ink from the gold foiling. And that's going to make it pop a little bit more. And you're going to really see the gold stand out. Okay, so there you go. Look at that. I got ink on my finger. All right. So that is going to get adhered, just offset. These are actually self-adhesive. They have a backing that peels off. These are the bomb. I love these things. We need the same thing in the gold and white in like for every occasion. I just think they're awesome. All right, our last couple of touches, we are going to add some ribbon. This is the shiny, real red shiny ribbon. Now, this is also on the last chance list. And I'm telling you now, there is a fantastic Valentine's suite in the new mini that this coordinates with really, really well. So pick a couple of rolls up if you haven't already, because you're going to want to use it for Valentine's. Okay. Oh, look, and there's a joint in the ribbon. We'll see if we can get a bow out of this. Oh, yeah, we can. All right. Now, this ribbon is not, it's double-sided, right? So there's two different sides. Do you see how one side is shiny and one side is matte on my tails? So if I want my tails to match, I have to take and twist that tail that is showing the wrong side and then pull my knot nice and tight to hold it. Okay, that's how you get your tails to match when you have ribbon that is not the same on both sides. Okay, worth the effort for this gorgeous ribbon, but it's just one extra little step. All right, so I'm going to trim these tails off. And then that is going to get adhered with 2 glue dots. This ribbon is really quite sheer, and I find if I only put 1 glue dot, it does not hold my bow. So we're going to stick that on just like that. And then our last touch is to add a couple more of these little shaker stars. So my hot tip for that is to just take and put a dab of glue wherever you want a star to go. And then you're going to use the blue goo end of your take your pick. Pick it up and then plunk it down. And I like to use the pokey end to kind of just press it onto the glue dot, or dot of glue, I guess. It's not really a glue dot. Okay, that thing is in my way. Let's put this guy over here. Just like that. And then you just let it sit for a moment and you're good. Okay. So you don't have to worry about things sticking to your fingers, or, you know, how staticky sequins can get. So this way you don't actually have to handle them and you don't get them stuck to your fingers. Okay. Now on the inside, I added a white panel. I stamped the smaller branch in Old Olive, and then I added my little red banner there. Okay. I'm not going to take the time to do that now, but that's the idea. Okay. So that's number 2. Easy peasy shaker card. Number 3 is my fave. Well, it's my fave until I came up with those 2 last minute. Then they became my faves. All right, here we go. So this one has some ink blending. You know how much I love ink blending, right? So this one is a little bit of a collage kind of style, but I love the little hits of gold in this one. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. It is pretty straightforward. It's just, it takes a little bit of elbow grease. So we're starting with a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of soft seafoam cardstock. Okay. And I'm going to come in to start with my Granny Apple Green ink and my blending brush. And we are going to lay down some ink all the way around. Now we're going to cover most of the cardstock. We're going to leave the very middle light. We don't want to completely lose that soft seafoam. We want a little hint of it. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you are trying to layer color, when you're ink blending, it is very helpful to start with colored cardstock in a light shade of whatever your palette is. So if I were doing, you know, blues, I would start with probably Pool Party or Balmy Blue. If I were doing purples, I would probably start with Fresh Freesia or Bubble Bath. It just gives your color an extra little bit of depth, and you don't have to work so hard to get the layers of color. Okay, that's my advice for ink blending. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so that is our Granny Apple Green. I'm going to close it, but not put it away. We're going to need it later. And then I'm going to come in with some shaded spruce and another blending brush. And this time we're going to come on not quite as far as we did with the Granny Apple Green. So again, I'm just working my way around. I'm applying a fair bit of pressure here. I do want to get a fair good bit of ink down, and I want to make sure I hit those edges nice and dark. So we just work our way around. Blending, blending, blending. This is where I wish I could fast forward it for you so you didn't have to watch me do this. It's a little boring. While I'm doing this, how are we doing with our Christmas shopping? Anybody finished their Christmas shopping yet? I haven't even started. I'm so behind. My house isn't decorated. I had all these plans to get things done, and then things came up, and yeah. So, and I've also been busy prepping for my team Christmas party, which I bit off way more than I can chew. Let me just say 1,462 die cut pieces. That's all I'm going to say. That's why I've been super busy. My last shade I'm coming in with now is Pretty Peacock. And I'm really just hitting the edges. I don't want to come on far at all. I don't want to change the green. All I'm doing with the Pretty Peacock is sort of deepening the green. It really just kind of, I don't know, it just adds a little bit of a pop on the edges. I just like that layering. of it with the shaded spruce. Works quite nicely. All right. Joyce has one more to buy. Oh my goodness, Lauren, you are absolutely amazing. You want to come do mine? I am, yeah, this weekend. I keep saying that. It will be this weekend because everything is going to be done by Friday. So, oh, don't put those away, Lena. All right. Now we're going to add some stamping. So I'm going to come in with, where did I put my stamps? I think I put my, I think I put my stamp away. That wasn't very smart. I think I did. I thought I had pulled it out, but nope, it's in the envelope. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of stamping all the way around the edges here. So I'm going to come in with some Granny Apple Green first and the larger little branch image. And we're just going to stamp sort of randomly, kind of, all the way around the edges. I'm trying not to be super regular with it. It's a little bit tricky when you're using the very same image all the time. Whoopsie. Let's see if we can get that. The trick with this is you want to make sure you actually need to rock this stamp a little. You know how when you're learning to stamp, they always say, don't rock, don't rock. With this one, you kind of need to, because it's such a narrow stamp, it's easy to miss half the image if you don't give it a little bit of a rock as you are pressing it. So just coming all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to come in and do a few stamped off here and there. This is going to be much more random because I'm just adding an extra layer of texture here. I'm also going to take care not to get the edge of my block, which has ink on it. See? Not good, Lena. All the way around. Okay, then I'm going to come in with my shaded spruce ink and the smaller branch. And this time I am going to stamp off. I don't want really bold shaded spruce. Plus I just re-inked this pad and it's very dark. So I'm going to come in and stamp off with the smaller branch. Again, randomly all the way around. This is kind of creating a little collage, right? So we don't want it to be super planned or think too hard about it. There we go. Okay, pretty easy, right? To create that. Yes, and that's the cool thing about the sun. You're right, Lauren. It does look like the sun is shining in the middle. So by leaving that light area in the middle, it makes it almost look like it's glowing. Okay. All right. Okay, Liana, I'm glad. I'm glad it's not too boring and that it's helpful for you. All right, so we are going to add some twine. As soon as I figure out where it is in my little baggie here. Dump out all my bits so I can find things. So this is some of the gold and white baker's twine from the Modern Christmas Suite. Love this stuff. I can't stop using it. It just seems to be the perfect embellishment for everything. I love using gold foil, so this just works so well. So I'm going to add a glue dot kind of where my little oopsie was with my block so that I can hide it. And run my twine across, and then again, another glue dot and secure it. Oh, that glue dot was a little low there, Lena. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, now we're going to glue that onto a Pretty Peacock mat. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue. So there we go. And then before I get any inkier, look at my fingers. I'm going to glue this onto my white card base without getting a fingerprint. I'm going to try not to get a fingerprint. We'll see what happens. This is a 4 1/4 by 11 basic white thick cardstock. And you know what? I'm going to get rid of this very messy grid paper because I'm worried I'm going to end up with ink on my card base. So we'll get rid of that and work on a clean surface after all that messiness. I love ink blending. I love getting dirty and messy, but sometimes you have to take precautions. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. And we're going to layer this onto our card base. So let's fold that in half along our score line. And then we'll go ahead and adhere that to our card base. There we go. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of arranging. So I have here a couple of labels that I've die cut using the textured notes dies. Okay, so this is the very smallest one. It's the sentiment that I've heat embossed in gold, and then the next size up in gold foil. So we're actually going to build our arrangement on the gold layer. So I've got all kinds of little stamped and die cut branches here. So you've seen me arrange before. This is not anything new. Woo. Got my little scoop there. So I'm just going to lay some seal down and I'm just going to start arranging. Now, sometimes you have to trim these long stems because they do show behind if you aren't careful. So we'll kind of do one there and one there. I'll trim this short and add one there. Okay, so there are my darker green ones. And then we're going to, or sorry, my lighter green, and then we're going to add the darker green. I'm going to just use a little bit of seal right on the branch here. And we'll add one and two and one more. So that's going to go on like that. And then we're going to add our gold. So again, just a little bit of seal. And we'll layer those little gold guys on. Just like that. Okay. Now, this is pretty bulky. We got lots of layers there. So we are going to just put some seal on this end, the left end of our label, and then a dimensional on the right end. And that is going to allow it to sit flat. With all that thickness, if we put a second dimensional on, we would actually end up with it not lying properly. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? Now I just realized I forgot to put the best part on before I did my twine. So we're going to get a little creative here. So how many of you have played with our metallic rub-ons? These are the bomb. I absolutely love these things. I'm going to use this sort of lattice pattern here. So the easiest way to use these things is with the backing sheet on. Do not take the backing sheet off until you're ready to use them. Okay, they come off super easily. So if you take the backing off and set it down, you're probably going to leave some of your image on whatever you set it on. Okay, that's how easily they come off. Now, the only caution here, because we've laid down all kinds of ink on here, the cardstock is a little bit damp and we need to dry it because these things will not stick if the cardstock is damp. So I'm going to turn on my heat tool and just blast the part that we are going to be using just to dry it to make sure that my rub-ons adhere. Now, did you know that our heat tool has two settings? We have setting 1 is for drying ink, which is what I'm using. And then setting 2 is for heat embossing. If you are not aware of that and you try heat embossing with setting 1, you will be there for a very long time. All right, so now that should be good. I'm going to peel my backing off. I'm going to take this little lattice pattern. I'm going to slide it in behind my twine. And then I'm just going to take a bone folder and burnish. And you don't have to rub hard. These things stick really, really easily. And we peel off and voila, it's magical. Look how pretty that is. Well, there's one spot that didn't stick all that well, but look. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see the sheen? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, aren't they fan? Oh, I love these things so much. Okay. And then we are going to adhere our arrangement onto our card. And you see how that just picks up that gold? It's just, oh, so pretty. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of our little arrangement. I want to take care not to put dimensionals where my twine is going to run across, just so that it sits nice and secure. So right about there looks good. Okay, and then our last little touch are some of our floral accents. What are these? Yeah, flower accents. These are from the Kintsugi Inspiration Suite in the annual, and they are the perfect bright brassy gold to coordinate with those rub-ons. They look fantastic with it. So there we go. You like that one? Yes, it could be a card for just about anybody. It's not super, super fussy. I'm going to add a bow. I almost forgot again. I'm going to bring in my twine again. I don't know how I'm forgetting the bows these days. It's definitely not like me. Well, being forgetful is like me, but forgetting the bows specifically is not like me. All right, we're going to go ahead and add a glue dot. Just going to roll it into a little booger there. And I'm just going to press it over where the twine is sitting on the card front, and then adhere my bow right there. Okay, so there we go. You like that one? All right, now on the inside, I kind of carried on some of the ink blending and collage stamping and then added a sentiment. Okay, so there we go. 1, 2, and 3. Now I have 2 more. These are my last minute inspiration. Okay, so here we go. Here's number 1. So this one uses that other pattern, the stripe pattern from the Whispers of Texture, and that beautiful vine image stamp, and another one of the rub-ons. And I use a little bit of the rub-ons on the strip as well. So this one, again, just a little bit of ink blending in navy. I heat embossed first in gold, and then added the navy, and then wiped the embossed areas clean, so I didn't have any navy ink on it. And then used a rub-on for my wreath. Okay, the inside is just a wishing you all the best. And then one more Christmas card because I couldn't resist. I love the look of this image, heat embossed in gold on black. I just think it looks fantastic. So I layered 2 of them overlapping to create a backdrop for my sentiment. I hid the overlap with the sentiment label. Okay, and used a little bit of Modern Christmas DSP. And again, there's more of that Modern Christmas twine. On the inside, I used another, these are both more of those ephemera. They're just awesome. All right, there you go. Not as many samples as I usually have, but I've been a little busy die cutting. All right, everybody, let me come back to me so I can say thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these projects. Check out this cute little bundle. It is, like I said, really versatile. I hope I've shown you some possibilities with it. And do check out this month's product of the month. It is live today. Okay, thanks for joining me. I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.